Good evening, friends. Welcome back to Feni for the Soul. We are now doing part 3 of the series on Goa elections. This is the third interview, and it's going to be a significant interview because we are going to talk about the Association for Democratic Reforms. This is a wonderful socio-political watchdog that has started about over 23, 24 years back. And I'll give you a brief idea. In 1999, a group of IIM Ahmedabad professors came together and established ADR. And this group then filed a PIL in the Delhi High Court, where they asked the High Court that they demanded a disclosure from every single political candidate pan-India to disclose their criminal record, their financial record, and educational qualifications. And luckily for our country and ADR, the Supreme Court in 2003 made it mandatory. So it's now become a mandate that every candidate in the smallest town has to give a disclosure to the Election Commission, as we all know now. But this is thanks to this lovely organization called ADR. Now, ADR today works on 4 broad areas. I want to give you the idea. One is corruption and criminalization in politics. Second is empowerment of the electorate with better information about candidates. The third is more accountability from political parties. And fourth, very interestingly, is inner party democracy for each of these various political outfits. Now, today, I'm very happy that we have with us Bhasker Assoldekar, who is a fellow Goan, and he is the state coordinator, the Goa state coordinator of ADR. He's based in Mumbai, but he is a son of the soil. He's from, the Asolda village beyond Shandor. And he is an alum of Chaugule College in Madgaon. And then he has gone to 2 pedigree institutes. He is a postgraduate from the University Department for Chemical Technology in Mumbai, that's UDCT. Creme de la Creme Institute, and then finally he went to IIM Ahmedabad, no less. So with those qualifications, of course, no surprise that he was CEO many times. He was CEO of a 500 crore company before he started his own company, which he runs in Mumbai. So the good news is, Bhasker Bab is associated with ADR for 15 long years. And specifically for Goa 2022 elections, he camped here, researched Goa's candidates, and has put up a paper. And the Times of India did an excellent series of stories with him just yesterday, February the 9th. So, welcome, Bhasker Bab.
Thank you. Dev Barakaro, thank you very much.
Dev Barakaro Tuka. So, I am now going to really kick off by asking Bhasker Bab this important question, which is largely from the reports that have appeared in the Times of India. Bhasker Bab, yesterday the Times of India reported, quoting you, that 62% of our 300 candidates in Goa this year are crorepati's, and 31% are have got net worth more than 5 crore of rupees. So, I want your comment on this. What do you have to say about this?
I'll just add on to Rahul,
yes,
what you said, that all this data really came out as a consequence of our press conference, which was held on 8th at Chamber of Commerce in Pune. And this data has come to me from Delhi, but I have made few additions, typically, Goan type of additions to this report through the statistics and data. One thing which I would like to say at the very outset is all this data which we give is out of the sworn affidavits which every candidate has submitted to the returning officer while filing the nomination. So there's absolutely no scope for our own, adding masala or something. It is straight coming from there and then given to you as it is. Now, yes, there are higher number of crorepati's this time, and you do have, in absolute terms, 60 out of 301 candidates. This time we have 301 against 249 candidates in 2017, if you want to compare.
Yes. Yes.
And now we have almost 60 candidates out of 301, which is almost close to 20%, who are 10 crores plus. So, the anomaly starts from here, whether they are the true representatives of Goa population at large, because despite high GDP of Goans in the entire country, still I don't think 20% of Goans are having 10 crores plus. So has elections become an exercise for only crorepati's? Because last time around in the last assembly, all 40 MLAs were crorepati's. For the first time ever it happened. So this question just comes like that. And the right thinking people should address themselves to. I mean, because today that's what it looks like.
Correct. Correct. In fact, my journalist friend Sandesh Prabhudesai in his book, Ajib Goa's Gajab Politics, has brought out the fact that almost all the existing 40 MLAs who are in the assembly now have got landlords, are property dealers, and some of them he calls them land sharks also. So the whole thing is the money apparently is coming all from land dealings.
I'll just add. I'm like, see, 37 MLAs in the last assembly out of 40 had given business as their profession. I mean, they were businessmen. Spouses, again, business women or businessmen, depending upon whether the MLA was male or female. But the thing is, I don't have aversion personally to businessmen, because I myself is a businessman in small industrialist. But see, they have mentioned in the affidavits, they are businessmen, but there is no mention of business of what. Okay, and you don't see really a public limited company or some such thing that they are, managing or something. No, it doesn't appear there. It appears that most of these 37 we have given this could be perhaps, I'm using this word consciously, businessmen, but in real estate. It could be possible. I mean, again, no aversion to it, but almost identical kind of thing. Now, if you could really compare to 1963-64, the first assembly ever post-liberation of Goa, it was sworn in on 9th and 10th of January 1964. Elections were held in 63. That's why I said 63-64. It was a 30-member assembly with one guy from Daman and another from Diu, and Goa had only 28. So just to compare what is happening now, at that stage, out of 28, there were 4 doctors, professional MBBS medic surgeon doctors. In fact, I had my family doctor who was a MLA, who used to practice and then come to homes those days, and then you give injection, tablet, whatever, check the patients. 4 doctors, 4 advocates, 5 teachers, 6 freedom fighters, because Goa was just liberated.
Absolutely.
So and then there were some 4 to 5 farmers. So like it was like a perfect representation of Goan population at large.
True.
Today, you certainly don't have 93%, 37 out of 40 as businessmen in Goa. I mean, they are in different professions. So because what happens is, why you should have a proper representation is because then when you take a bill or when you discuss something in the assembly, you should have good inputs coming from various people who are coming from that strata, so that the quality of discussion becomes better.
True.
Here, perhaps now the things don't happen that way.
Agree.
So that's the only reason why we talk about this as crorepati's or businessmen as a profession.
Correct. Thank you, Bhasker Bab, for that explanation. My next question really is this nexus between crime and money. You have shown in your own research, which you have shared with the media, that 6 candidates last time in 2017, 6 candidates who had net worth more than 10 crores of rupees had been charged with serious, crime. And they all managed to get elected, all those 6. Now that number, there are 20 candidates with serious criminal charges with 10 crore net worth who are in the fray for the election. So I want your comments on this, because this seems to be they are now emboldened to, you know, more criminals are, you know, now getting into the election?
No, I'll perhaps start with the root of the whole thing. And yes, money power and muscle power is a very potent recipe for perhaps winning, not only in the rest of the country, but even now it's happening in Goa also. Goa was a little different earlier. We can't claim that to be so. I mean, perhaps the way the things happen in Bihar or UP or some of the other states, we have this also. Now, the real issue, which is causing a bit of this thing, is what was the percentage of criminals, even as candidates? I'll give you a small example. And I'm only comparing the candidates, because this time right now we have the reference only of 2022 candidates. We don't have elections. I have not been through. So, you know, in 2007, because that's the first time ADR really got into Goa, post 2003, 2002 elections were much earlier. So in 2007, there were 2% candidates with serious crimes on their head.
True.
2%. Okay. By 2012, the number doubled into 4%. By 2017, it again doubled and went on to 8%. These are only candidates. The ones who were elected, that percentage was different, and I'll tell you what it is. 8% were, so double. Now, this time 2022, you have 18% candidates with serious crimes. So even amongst the candidates, is it a true representation of Goans? I'm very sure 18% Goans don't have serious crimes on their head. I mean, you don't require a rocket scientist to tell us this.
Right.
So why only criminal guys and crorpatis come into the election fray is not something which is known to me, honestly.
True.
And, you know, last time what you said is true.
Yeah.
6 out of 6 got elected, but 6 we had more than 10 crores, not only 10 crores, but more than 10 crores, and serious criminal cases.
Right.
All of them won. And last time you had 9 out of 40 MLAs with serious criminal cases,
right,
which was 22.5%.
Yeah.
Now, why we should really have a little aversion towards criminals is they have been lawbreakers. Let's appreciate this. They have broken some law, and hence they are criminals.
Right.
Now, how can we really think of these lawbreakers to make laws for us? I mean, it looks strange, honestly.
Yeah.
A lawmaker who had broken some law is a strange thing.
Yeah.
Because lawbreaker means he had no respect for the Constitution of India.
Right.
And at some point in time, maybe once, but still it has happened.
Right.
So this is the thing, you know. So the issue here is a nexus between the crime and the money power and muscle power is a big concern. And it's time that, you know, the Goan voters do a self-introspection and see, because in 2007, let me tell you, 15 years ago, you didn't have a single MLA out of 40 who had serious crime. Please appreciate. In 2012, you had 2 out of 40.
And it's skyrocketed now.
Yeah. And from 2, it has gone to 9, which is 450% increase.
Correct.
In the last assembly.
And it only seems to be increasing. So like Bhasker Bab, you're rightly saying that the Goan voter must introspect and, you know, vote these people out, you know, and make the right choice.
Yeah, certainly. And that's our job. I mean, we will never say whom to vote. I mean, that's not our job. That is the job left to the individual voter, that they should use their own intelligence and vote. But before going to the polling booth, we would like to reach to them with this data on the various parameters, so that when they go to the polling booth, they have an informed choice.
True.
As to which candidate, according to their perception, and They could vote for different people.
Yeah.
Because they may give priority to some particular aspect of a candidate than the other. But they have to have informed choice on these parameters, which was not happening before the affidavits were made available.
Correct. I'm coming to that, Bhasker Bab. We were speaking about it a little earlier. There are so many, you pointed out to me, the anomalies in the affidavits, and where you said, number one was incomplete affidavits, where you have said in Goa specifically, people have not given their IT returns for the last 5 years, and slipshod affidavits have been given. Also, this whole asset and income mismatch, like you pointed out to me, that they have, let us say, income is very low, but very high amount of assets, which is cannot be understood. So can you throw some light on that aspect?
I would like to avoid at this stage naming those individuals, because I don't know what it's this thing. Although the information is true and they have given that information, but there are instances, like what has to really happen is, so what is the procedure required to be followed? When the affidavit is submitted to a returning officer in the respective constituency, the returning officer's job is to ensure that he goes through it thoroughly on the various parameters. Okay, there could be 7, 8, 9 candidates, but it is his responsibility to ensure that he goes through it thoroughly. Okay, and he has to see this. Now, what has happened in some cases, and then of course, the office of the chief election office has to also ensure that it is being supervised. Okay, now I'll give you a few anomalies. There has been a candidate in Prior constituency who has been giving the same value of immovable assets. Immovable assets mean, in this case, land. Okay, large land, 100 acres and 50 acres and 30. Now, most of this land is purchased in 2007, 2008, 2010. Okay, now, if you go through his affidavits in 2012, you see a certain figure. Property number 1, because you have to give it property wise. Property 1, purchase on such a day, this is the value, this is the thing. Now, what he has done is, at the end, the Election Commission has clearly said, the affidavit itself says, approximate current market value today. You cannot be writing cost of purchase. But this particular candidate in 2012, in 2017, and 2019 by-elections, and I'm sure by now most of the people would know whom I'm referring to, and now in 2022 has given the same figure till the last rupee. Cut, copy, paste for every year. Now, as a consequence, the property which was purchased in 2008 for 5.5 crores continues to remain the same. Now, this does not ensure level playing field, because there are some who have given approximate current market value to their assets. In the process, some of them even have been number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever, in the ranking of crorepati. And this gentleman is quite down because he has been putting all across this. Now, why I feel a little uncomfortable on this entire situation is, I had brought to the notice of Chief Electoral Officer in Goa on 9th of December 2021 in my letter to him as a ADR Goa State Coordinator. I wrote to him saying that, look, there are perhaps going to be instances where the assets would be still given on cost of purchase and not on approximate current market value. They would not value that. So please ensure that it is, checked up.
Correct.
Now, why did I say this? I had a background clear, because in 12, 17 and 19 by election, I had seen this gentleman giving the same figures. And I was not surprised when the affidavit came here. So I wonder, why the returning officer has not been able to, do his duty perfectly. This is one part.
Which is a downright shame, really.
Absolute this thing. Absolute. And I had written the letter, and there's no cognizance of it. This is one part. Now the second part,
which is very sad.
Yeah, I have sent by mail. I have sent by WhatsApp also to the CEO. But that's what has happened. Now there's another candidate somewhere in May, yeah. Okay, now this gentleman has given, and this is where, the affidavit is incomplete, I would say, and an incomplete affidavit has to be rejected outright. I mean, you can always call the candidate and tell him that, you have to fill this, but if he still doesn't fill, then it should not be considered at all. And these are the clear guidelines from ECI, but still it has been done by absolutely, throwing the ECI guidelines perhaps to the dustbin. Now, this candidate, what he has done is, he has not given ITR details, income tax return. Now, you are required to give income tax returns, and for how much amount of the earlier 5 years.
Correct.
Okay. So for this election, you have to give for 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, 20, 21. For yourself, for spouse, for dependents below 18 years of age. Very clear guidelines. And if they are not followed, then it has to be rejected. Now, this particular gentleman who is contesting from May has given ITR returns only of 1 year, which is 2021. He has not given for earlier year. Affidavit clearly shows it. And this is Mr. Praveen Zanti. I don't want to mince words on that because it's a fact.
Yeah.
Now, there are others also. The next thing which he has not given anything, and I was surprised, he's the only, let's put it this way, he may not be having immovable assets. Like he may not, but he has put immovable assets as 0. And everywhere he has put nil, 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 nil. And what are those things? That means, perhaps, I have no idea, but the same gentleman has, it appears that he doesn't have a house of his own with his own title, doesn't have any other property, no office, no commercial premises, nothing. And as a consequence, his immovable assets are 0. And it has been accepted by the returning officer. So I wonder what exactly returning officer does before giving a green signal to a candidate.
Yeah.
That his affidavit is in order and doesn't require any further this thing.
Correct. Correct.
And there are other anomalies which I could talk about, several of them. Like there are crores and crores in terms of assets. And as you rightly said, there's a mismatch between the assets and the income shown, as in ITR.
How the voter can use your ADR website to analyze a candidate or stroke use the Election Commission of India website?
Yeah. See, there are 2 websites which are very authentic. I mean, the first authenticity comes out of ECI, Election Commission of India. Now, they have an app called KYC, Know Your Candidate. So if you download your KYC, and then what you have to do is, when you want to see details about your own constituency, you first click on Goa. It says, which state you are talking about, because there are 5 states given there, where we have elections: Uttar Pradesh, Manipur, Uttarakhand, etc., and Goa. So, and Punjab, of course, and Goa. So you can click on Goa, and once you click on Goa, you can click on your constituency, and you will see the photographs and the names of all your candidates who are contesting in the elections in that constituency. Now, you click on every candidate and take about, spend about 20 minutes on that candidate and see what are the various aspects. Education, the wealth, and wealth is whether it is in line with the income tax returns filed. Because if you try to compare income tax return filed and the wealth, theoretically, some of them would have taken even 250 years to accumulate that wealth. That's the level of income tax return. That's that low level of income tax return in the last 5 years. So if you average out, what is that amount? Suppose if they have paid for 10 lakhs, on an average over the last 5 years, income tax return, they have shown that wealth 10 lakhs per year. And if suppose he is having 1 crore as I said, then it becomes 10 years to accumulate on an average. But there are cases where they would have taken 250 years. There are some people who would have taken 170 years, etc., etc. So there are a lot of anomalies, as you said right at the outset. Now, you can refer to KYC app, or you can go to www.myneta.info. Again, click on that site, click on Goa, and you can see, and then there are, from 2007, 12, 17, 22, all the candidates we have contested, what is their wealth, what are the other details. So what you have to do is, you need to have informed choice, you and your family. So if you are a youngster and your family doesn't know how to operate the computer or whatever, it happens. So you have to read every affidavit and the specific aspects of the affidavit to your people, and you understand yourself first and try to come out with the anomalies or try to this thing, and then see which of the candidate suits you in the long run in the interest of Goa. I have said two things: long run, in the interest of Goa. And if that person, you find suitable, and obviously different people will find different people who are suitable, you can vote accordingly. That's our objective. Every voter has to have an informed choice when they go to polling booth. Very often we feel, what is that, man? With one vote, what is going to happen? There are other people who will go. So today it is very hot, man, I don't want to go for voting. Or it's very cold and chilly, I don't want to go for voting. No, you can't be doing that. As Felix Frankfurter has said, Felix Frankfurter was a former American Supreme Court judge, federal court they call it. He was a judge. Felix Frankfurter had said once that no office in the land, please understand what it is. It has a lot of depth. No office in the land is more important than that of being a citizen. So nothing is more powerful than that being a citizen. So it is you and you who is most powerful, and you can decide the fate of Goa. And if you take it on those lines, that, okay, my vote is going to decide the interest and welfare of Goa, Goa will take a U-turn and start coming back to normalcy from the kind of quagmire that it is in. That's my message. So please go through the website and you have an informed choice. Best wishes to all the people of Goa. 11.56 lakh voters are going to vote on 14th of February. Ensure that you vote in the interest of Goa.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Bhasker Bab. देव बरें करो, मोग
देव
असो.
बरें करूं तुका आनी सगळ्यांक गोंयस्तांक सगळे आमचे लोकांक, गोंयकार लोकांक देव बरो करूं, आनी बेस्ट विशीस फॉर 14th February.
Thank you.
वचात, वोट घालपाक वचात, अवॉइड करनाकात. Please go. Your vote will make a difference for the future, not only of Goa, in turn, future for your generation next. तुमच्या भुरग्यांक, तुमचे नातरांक help जातलो तुमच्या एका वोटान. Please understand this, the gravity and depth of it. Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, Rahul, for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.